The weight of wallets. John's story of surviving the high cost of living and budget stress. The world feels heavier lately. Prices keep climbing, bills stack higher, and somehow every paycheck disappears faster than the last. If you've ever opened your banking app and felt that drop in your chest, you're not alone. Millions are quietly fighting the same battle, working harder than ever, yet constantly behind. Today's story follows John, an ordinary guy pushed to his breaking point by the rising cost of living. But what he discovers will change everything. Because the real enemy isn't just inflation. It's the silent financial traps stealing your money without you noticing. The rain had already soaked through John's jacket by the time he reached the bus stop. It was only 6:10 a.m., but the city was awake. Cars swerving through puddles, shop shutters rattling open, the world already demanding more money than people could give. John pulled out his phone, checking his banking app for the fourth time that morning. The screen glowed with that familiar, suffocating number, $43.18. Rent due in 4 days, groceries almost gone, gas tank sitting at E, and payday still 3 sunsets away. A cold breeze rushed past him, but the cold inside his chest was worse. He closed the app, put the phone back into his pocket, and whispered the same sentence he'd been saying every morning for the past 6 months. I work. I try. Why is it still never enough? As the bus rolled toward him, brakes screeching, the fogged windows reflected a man who looked more tired than yesterday, and far more anxious than he cared to admit. Inside, every seat was taken. People holding lunchboxes, backpacks, brown coffee cups. People who looked exactly like him, overwhelmed, overstretched, and quietly fighting battles no one else could see. John grabbed an overhead bar as the bus rattled forward. He stared at the blur of buildings outside and wondered how a simple life had become so expensive, and why surviving felt like a full-time job. 2. The financial problem. John wasn't irresponsible. He wasn't careless. He wasn't lazy. He had a decent job. Not amazing, but stable. He didn't shop for luxury. He didn't overspend on wants. He didn't have vacations, subscriptions, or tech upgrades. So why did it feel like the world was draining money faster than he could earn it? Because John was living in a reality millions face right now. Everything costs more. Groceries? Up. Rent? Up. Utilities? Up. Transportation? Up. Medical bills? Unpredictable. Emergency savings? Non-existent. Yet paychecks, they stubbornly stayed the same. John's wallet wasn't empty because he was reckless. His wallet was empty because the system was squeezing from every direction. When he got home each night, he'd sit at the edge of his bed with a notebook filled with numbers and crossed out budgets that never quite balanced. $1,450 rent, $280 groceries, $110. Utilities, $95 phone. And internet, $160. Gas, $75 insurance, $40. Credit minimum? Nothing left. He wasn't overspending. He was overburdened. And he wasn't alone. Millions of people across the country felt the same pressure, working full-time, but still struggling, budgeting, but still drowning, saving, but still falling behind. Everyone talking about smart money habits. But few talking about how exhausting life feels when cash is constantly disappearing into higher prices. John was living paycheck to paycheck, not because he failed, but because the world changed faster than his income did. 3. The turning point. One night, as rain hammered the window and the electricity bill sat unopened on the counter, John snapped, not in anger, in exhaustion. He grabbed his notebook, opened it to a clean page, and wrote one sentence. Something has to change, but what? He didn't want fake positivity. He didn't want generic advice. He didn't want just budget better. He already had a budget. And still, he was losing. But something had been happening quietly behind him. Something he never noticed. Small leaks. Tiny financial habits. Invisible expenses. Money slipping through cracks he didn't even know existed. He reread his expenses for the 5th time. and something clicked. Maybe I'm not supposed to deal with this the old way. Maybe budgeting in 2025 required a new playbook, one built for a world where everything costs more and every dollar has to work harder. That night, he made a decision. Not to live smaller, not to suffer harder, not to cut himself into misery, but to fight back smarter. He spent the next 2 hours online researching money systems, strategies, and life hacks built specifically for high inflation living. He didn't know it then, but this would become the turning point that changed everything. 4. The lesson. Breakdown. John's survival strategy for high cost of living. What John discovered that night became a blueprint for anyone drowning under today's prices. Let's break it down. Step 1. Identify your silent money leaks. Most people don't go broke from big expenses. They go broke from unnoticed ones. John reviewed 90 days of transactions and circled. Impulse grocery. Add-ons, random $10 to $20 purchases, bank fees, double charges, cash withdrawals with no memory price. Increases on bills he never questioned. In 3 months, he found $367 of silent leaks. That's $1,468 per year. Almost an entire rent payment. Action for you. Print or download 90 days of statements. Highlight every transaction you don't remember with full clarity. These are your leaks. Step 2. The 60-20-20 budget, built for high cost of living. Traditional budgets don't work anymore, so John switched to a 2025 friendly model. 60%. Must-haves: rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance, minimum payments. 20%. Financial growth: savings, debt payoff, investments, even $5 counts. 20%. Life and flexibility. Eating out, small joys, unexpected needs. This system prevents burnout, it creates balance, and it gives guilt-free breathing room. If your must-haves are over 60%, many people's are, you adjust until you reach that target. Not overnight, but gradually. Step 3. Lower your big 3 expenses. John's breakthrough. Forget skipping coffee. The biggest savings come from housing, transportation, food. John did 3 things. Asked his landlord for a renewal discount. Got $50 off switched car insurance. Saved $28 per month. Planned meals weekly. Saved $62 per month. These small wins stacked into a $140 monthly savings, or $1,680 per year. Action for you. Renegotiate. Reshop. Re-strategize. Every bill has wiggle room, especially after price increases. Step 4. Introduce a micro-income stream. John didn't need a second job. He needed a micro-stream, something small but consistent. He did 15-minute product relistings on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. His average? $180 to $220 per month. The secret isn't a big hustle. It's a small one that fits into your life. Ideas. Selling unused items, editing micro-content, tutoring for 30 minutes delivery during peak hours. Reselling thrift finds, offering small digital services. Just one micro-stream can change everything. Step 5. Automate your safety-first fund. John started with $5 per day, automatically. Not savings based on mood. Savings based on system. By day 72, he had $360 saved. The first time in years he saw a positive number grow. Small amounts done automatically beat large amounts someday. Step 6. Adopt the 3-day delay. Whenever John wanted to buy something not on his list, he waited 3 days. 70% of wants disappeared. 30% were intentional. He saved over $95 the first month with this rule alone. Step 7. Build a stress-free grocery system. Groceries were destroying his budget. So he built a 4-part system. Weekly meal templates. 1 grocery trip per week. 0 supermarket walkthroughs. A fixed grocery list with no randoms. He saved another $48 per month. Step 8. Create a financial breathing room checklist. John's checklist, and yours, One bill renegotiated every 3 months. One micro income source maintained. One cost category reviewed monthly. One deposit to savings weekly. One small joy allowed every week. Money discipline with joy included. Sustainable. 5. The final transformation. 3 months later, John sat at the same kitchen table where he once cried over bills. Only this time, the notebook in front of him looked different. Where there used to be red circles, crossed out numbers, and desperation, now there were plans, progress, and possibility. His savings account had $612. His expenses were down $210 per month. His side stream brought in steady income. His stress levels dropped. His confidence rose. He could breathe again. Not because life got cheaper, but because he got stronger, smarter, and more system-driven. He didn't escape the high cost of living. He learned to navigate it like a strategist. As he looked out the window at the evening skyline, a quiet smile formed on his face, the first genuine smile in months. His life hadn't magically transformed. He had. You can't control inflation. You can't control rent hikes. You can't control rising prices. But you can control your systems, your spending habits, your micro-income streams, your savings automations, your financial awareness, your priorities, your reactions. The world may be expensive, but you are not powerless. Like John, you can rebuild control. One decision, one system, $1 at a time. And the moment you reclaim financial clarity, something powerful happens. Your stress drops. Your confidence rises. Your future opens. Hard times don't demand a harder life. They demand a smarter strategy. And now, you have one. And if John's story feels anything like your own, remember this. Financial stress doesn't define you. It challenges you. Every small change, every smart choice, every moment of clarity brings you one step closer to control, stability, and peace. You're not falling behind. You're learning how to rise. And today can be your turning point, just like it was for John. If this message helped you breathe a little easier or see your money differently, do one thing for me. Like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments.